Welcome friends, Ed here from Graveyard Excursions, and happy Thanksgiving everyone. We are here today in All Souls Cemetery, and I'm here to talk about a good friend of mine, Vance Jager. He was a close friend growing up in Willowick, Ohio, and we always would play games like Stratego and Risk, and then Star Wars came up, and he was big into Star Wars, as we all were back then, and he loved the idea of taking after his father, Richard Jager, who was a fighter pilot in the Korean War. Well, time goes by, Vance gets involved in athletics at Eastlake North. He's on the wrestling team, heavily involved. He's going places. He's got his whole life ahead of him, and he's doing well, and he joins the Air Force just like his father and starts impressing. He gets to actually fly experimental aircrafts, stuff like that. Well, it was Thanksgiving Day, 1988. His parents were just finishing up having their Thanksgiving dinner in their house in Willowick, Ohio. And Vance would call, as every other, he was always close with his parents, so he made that phone call wishing them both a happy Thanksgiving. He had just finished eating his Thanksgiving meal himself, and Vance was going to go on a flight with an experimental aircraft, and his father right away was not on board with that, pardon the pun, but he really did not want his son to go on that flight. He just had a bad feeling about it. Well, Vance, being the all-go guy that he was, said, "Don't worry about it, Dad. I got this. I'll be all right. I'm gonna, you know, I can handle this." Well, as fate would have it, there was a malfunction, and the plane went down in one of the lakes up there in Minnesota. He survived the crash, but trying to swim to shore at this time of the year, it's cold up there. The water is freezing, and Vance died of hypothermia trying to make it back to shore. Well, by the time he made it to shore, it was too much for him. He was only 23 years old. November 12th, 1988. He's right next door to his father, Richard, who died back in 2016. I come here as often as I can to see Vance. You just wonder how his life would have gone down if he hadn't gone onto that flight on that fateful day, November 24th, 1988, Thanksgiving Day, a day that will always be remembered for what could have been with Vance Jager. Well, I always try to remember the good times with Vance. We grew up being competitive, but you know what, it was always part of growing up. We would always, you know, go our own way. You know, he ended up going to Eastlake North, and I ended up going to Lake Catholic, and that's when things started to go in different directions. But deep down, we're always going to be good friends. Thank you, Vance, for being a good guy. I do miss you.